Hi. So, it's a bit unusual for me to upload videos this late, but I just got home and I saw that a new developer inside called Matters of Lore was uploaded today, and I just had to make a quick video going over it, bringing it to you and discussing some topics in it with you. So, without further ado, let's just jump into it. So, greetings esteemed wizards. Today we want to talk about lore as well as lore. As many of you have been eager to point out, the world of Eo has a rich and varied history that is not made less complex by the first two games and their add-ons taking place on the world timeline after the third game, which is set pre-Convocation. The Convocation, of course, being the cataclysmic event that shattered the world of Eo. So yeah, they are bringing up a point that we sort of knew was going to be in this whole mix at one point, because Conquest of Eo takes place timeline-wise, putting everything on the same between SpellForce 3 and the phenomenal SpellForce 1 and 2 games. Now, I stand by the opinion that SpellForce 3 is a completely separate timeline because of the various lore issues and mistakes and lore breaks the game has. But for the purposes of the article and this video, it's sort of around there. The Conquest of Eo will take place, this was confirmed around 100 years after the circle was formed, so let's say 400 BC, and they have said publicly before that Conquest of Eo will be a sort of bridge, trying to bridge stuff that we have from the SpellForce 3 games with the canon Phenomic lore. And this is going to talk a bit about that. Now, like we just said, this game is placed between the last one, so SpellForce 3, and the Convocation story, and thus they had to do a historical deep dive. What did the world look like at the time, who was alive and who wasn't, which creatures existed? Fortunately, the lore masters in the SpellForce community helped us a lot and keep us abreast of glaring historical errors and missteps. So we ended up with what we see as a sort of bridge between the two generations of SpellForce, but that poses another issue. How can we create a game that does not change the future for Eo's timeline and yet still provides enough free room to explore and expand for the player's own story? Now, again, this is a very good thing they're doing and that they're bringing up because they're trying, to make sure that things fit. They aren't just writing it and saying, you know what, to hell with it, we'll just write something and it'll be okay. No, they're actually thinking about this, actively thinking about this, and I feel like this is one of the ways how you're supposed to handle a prequel. Consider how the events of the game that you are making will impact future events so that you don't run into plot holes and lore breaks such as, I did something in this game which completely contradicts something that was stated later or that happened later. They continue with saying, therefore, we focus on you as a mage and the circle. We won't rewrite history with the nations being conquered or kingdoms toppled. Instead, it's a journey of magical power and knowledge that will have you travel across the world map in search of the secrets of the Allfire. So again, very good to see from them. They don't want to rewrite what was already established, they just want to add to it, and I cannot commend this enough. But yeah, the name Conquest of Eo might be a bit misleading as they point out here, because there won't be any conquering of kingdoms or nothing will be toppled, but instead we'll just focus on magical power and knowledge, and there's an image there that sort of suggests what we will be doing in that regard. They state further that, as we can see on the eagle eye view, we start out in the Highmark, which is dominated by humans, but a diverse and interesting area bordered by the Middle Mountains, orcs, dwarves, and a nation under constant pressure from all around. Again, very good. They're not trying to push races into the Highmark that aren't there. You have the humans predominantly, which has always been the case ever since the humans have started existing around 1000 BC. No, not existing, but have started expanding around 1000 BC. And yeah, just the dwarves in the mountains there, some orcs as well, dark elves maybe too, on the eastern side of the Highmark. We'll have to see how that plays out, but they mention these and this is all fine. Now, we have this map here, which seems to be a world map or in-game map with some interesting locations. We have Seven Keeps here as the city, and we already know that Seven Keeps is going to be a city that we will go to, that we will explore. We also have some other known places like Alluvion, Golden Fields, which, for those of you who don't know, the area around Seven Keeps is known as Golden Fields. We also have Rushwater Downs here and the South Watch, which are all places that we know, together with some new ones like Three Lakes and stuff like that. They mentioned some towns here as well, like Ardale, Connacht and Lorraine, and other small towns that are dotting the region, and befriending any of them can be quite useful to gain access to their resources. Of course, Seven Keeps dominates the area, as we know, it's the capital of the Highmark, and holds many interesting locations and new adventures. So again, Seven Keeps seems to be the focal point of this game, and there's also another image here that shows Seven Keeps, and I have to say, wow. Even this game has a skybox and a sort of third-person view. Very interesting. Speaking of adventures, while you play a soon-to-be powerful mage in the game, we of course wanted to have one of the mainstays of SpellForce, heroes and their individual stories. Each hero who joins you has a different story to tell, which will also be explored via your grimoire. Initially, very little is known about your new companions, but further adventures and research will reveal new aspects of your heroes and give you more and more background. Or in the case of the Dwarven Alchemist and Bomb Maker lore, new ways to blow things up in spectacular ways. This way you unlock more reasons to explore the game world and involve yourself in new adventures, and you can make one dwarf really happy. So yeah, again, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and more importantly, go to this article and rate it up. Because, like I've said in my last Developer Insight video, the first one, I think it's very cool that they are taking the time to write these developer blogs for us, because it's not something many people take the time to do, and yeah, it's just nice to see. But with that, thank you for watching, subscribe not to miss any new videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!